Alrighty. So, can you tell me a little bit about your job and what you do?
I can. I teach Title I at an elementary school, so I provide math and reading intervention to kindergarten through 5th grade students.
Okay. What are your day-to-day tasks?
Most of my day-to-day tasks have to do with actual intervention, working with small groups. So we use our assessment data and we form groups based on student needs and student ability levels. And then I provide 30 minutes of small group and a group of 5 or less intervention based on their needs daily. I usually rotate through 8 or 9 groups a day, so generally see around 45 students each day in small groups.
A lot.
It is a lot. Yeah, when you think about it that way,
Yeah.
It is a lot. Some of the other tasks, though, in the Title I job are with community outreach and family involvement. So the other Title I teacher and myself, we do a lot of planning book fairs and family nights and breakfast with parents, anything like that that we can think of to involve the community and to involve our families and get them into the school. Yeah.
What is your school system like?
Our school system, the school that I teach at is a small elementary school. 200 students is about the maximum that's ever been there since I've been there teaching. We have pre-K through 5th grade. It's a rural school. We have a really high percentage low socioeconomic students. Lots of children that live with grandparents, great-grandparents, kids affected by, the drug epidemic and things like that. I think before we had the grant that allowed everybody free or reduced lunch, I think our school had 85% of our students were on a free or reduced lunch plan. So,
do you use research to shape your daily tasks and how you do your job?
I do. I think we use research in a couple different ways. Obviously, if I have a student that I'm having an issue with and they're struggling with something and I just can't have done everything I know how to do, I will research, online or just through different areas to find new strategies to try or to see if there's other ideas that I haven't tried. I'd say the other research would be the assessments that we use are all research-based, and so there's a lot that goes into those, into looking at like your results from your PALS assessment that we use, and to see what the research says that you should do next. So I think that's probably the most common way we use it.
Okay. If you use research, well, you just said where you find your information. I'll skip that one.
That's okay.
How often do you use research to find new information to help you with your work?
I would say, each 9 weeks when we do our new assessments and we kind of redo our groups and those kind of things, I know we try to do research then just to see what's the best way to reach the different students. Get a lot of ideas. Just the Department of Ed is good to send things out. The West Virginia Reading Association has a lot of really good ideas. So we look different ways, different places.
Cool, I'm learning stuff.
Yeah.
Have you found much research that helps with teaching reading?
Yeah, now we have. I think when I first started teaching, I don't know if I felt like the research that I found maybe didn't match what we saw in the classroom or what I saw in struggling readers, but I feel like it's kind of caught up now to where it's maybe more updated. I know you can find a lot of things about dyslexia now, just for instance, and like the research-based strategies where as 5 years ago that wasn't even recognized as a reading disability in most places, and it was hard to find things specific for that. So there's that, and then I think like when we look to purchase a new program, we always look to see, is it research-based, like where did it come from, who did it, what do the studies show, and I think that's probably improved from what it used to be.
Side question.
Yeah.
Do you see a lot of kids that have dyslexia?
I think more than what we realize. I think there's so many different, there's so many different forms of it and so many things that kids do that are a cause of dyslexia that you maybe don't put with dyslexia,
Yeah.
But I've read and researched a lot more about it recently, and now I can see it in kids that we always knew had some type of a reading disability, but we just couldn't pinpoint the exact thing that was going on. And so that's when we started researching programs to use for intervention. And so we found like the Barton reading and spelling, and that's good for any struggling reader, but it really pinpoints like dyslexic students and kids that have those types of problems. So yeah, it's one of my things. I like to learn about it.
Do you or other colleagues ever share research?
We do. We do a lot of professional development, I think, within our school, just within teachers within our school. So, you know, if any of the teachers find anything or there's something that we've researched that we're using that we think is really great, we'll kind of push it out to the rest of our colleagues or whoever we think it might benefit. But a lot of the professional development days, somebody within our school is asked to present or show something or teach something. So it is. It's nice because you can always find somebody that's doing something that you'd like to know how to do, and a lot of times they're just right within your school.
Is that like specific to your school, or do they do that other places?
I don't know. I think other schools do it. I think we probably have done it a little longer maybe than others.
Okay.
We used to have like a rotating schedule set up where we could choose something that we wanted to go in and see another teacher do. And so like our kindergarten teacher at that time was Heather Cooper, and I loved her reading centers, and so I got to go in and watch how she did her reading centers. And then another teacher came in and watched me do a technology type lesson, and so it was really cool. But yeah,
Hope they do that to very
yeah, that's neat.
Tell me overall how satisfied you are with what research you have found in your field based on what you already know.
Okay, I think that's kind of like what we were talking about before. I don't know if maybe I didn't specifically know what to look for or know where to look. It might just be that it came with a little more experience and knowing like what specifically I'm looking for and knowing what sites to look at or what, journals, magazines, like where I was going to look. But I think now I'm able to find things easier and better, things that are more of what I'm looking for.
Do you work closely with another teacher or specialist?
I do. The other Title I teacher and I actually share a classroom, and we split all of the Title I duties. We work together more than we work apart, but we do a lot of bouncing ideas off of each other and collaborating and coming up with school-wide plans and plans for kids. And it's nice to have somebody in the same room because I might be on my planning period, but I can hear her teaching on the other side of the room, and I might hear her say something that I'm like, I never thought to explain it that way. So it is neat.
That would be good. If so, well, you just said you share all the responsibilities, so I was going to ask this, and I've been wondering this for a while, actually. Do you teach some of, like, the math Title I, too? That's interesting.
Yeah, we do. We, before I was Title I, Ms. Stamper that's there now was Title I, and the other Title I teacher was kind of grandfathered into the job because she'd been in it so long.
Oh, okay.
And so she actually didn't have a master's in reading, and so that's why she taught all of the math. And the other Title I teacher that had the master's in reading taught all of the reading.
Okay.
Well, then when she retired and I moved into the job, since I had the master's in reading, we decided to split it. So we both do math and reading intervention, and it's nice to change it up a little bit and not have to reteach the same lessons if you're teaching the same grade level. So it's a nice way to do it. Yeah.
Do you ever co-teach?
Some. What I think we have found is that with the younger kids, the pull-out seems to be more beneficial for them, especially if we're talking about kids in kindergarten, first grade, or second grade, because they're, the areas that they need help in are generally so specific that it's easier to pull them out and just kind of hit those areas really hard, and try to catch them back up. So I think when we do K2 intervention for reading, now the 3-5 reading intervention, sometimes we will go in and co-teach. Sometimes we will do like a, 2 days we go in and co-teach, and then we see what they're working on, what they're having issues with, and then we pull out for the rest of the time. So it kind of varies depending on the grade level, the kids, the teacher, what they need, that kind of thing.
That made me think. So with the kids you do pull out, do you pull out like a specific level, like middle or low or both? Or?
When I first started in Title I, we serviced the intensive students. And so we would pull out the lowest students that were, on a similar level. If we took like the lowest 3 students, they might all be, close to the same level, but sometimes 3 to 5 is usually what we took. The last 2 years, however, we kind of have done a flipped intervention model, and the classroom teachers have provided the intensive intervention, and the Title I teachers have provided the targeted intervention. We actually went to the campaign for grade level reading that the state did, and several of the counties who had had a lot of success said that one of the things they did that they attributed to that was that their Title I teachers started servicing the targeted students, because they were the students that could make that jump if they just had some individual attention and some small group time. So we started doing the flipped model, and for 2 years we've serviced the targeted students, and we've seen major growth.
Oh, that's cool. It worked.
It worked, yeah.
All right. Let me see the next question. These are all about co-teaching. Sorry. All right. I'm sorry. It's okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
Alrighty.
Trying to make sure that didn't do anything.
Alrighty. Have you ever researched co-teaching?
We have, and I think you can see different, it's kind of all over the place. You know, some people really say that it's effective. If it's done the correct way, I think co-teaching can be really effective.
Yeah.
You know, if you and the classroom teacher have a good relationship, and you each know what your roles and responsibilities are, and you know the students, and you can kind of bounce off of each other, you know, and take turns, you know, in that, then I think co-teaching can work really good. And I think we've found a lot of success with it in our 3-5 math areas. You know, I think it's been really effective there. I think when we've done co-teaching, when we're doing writing, it's been really effective also. So I think it really just depends on the relationship you have with the teacher. And, you know, I've been in co-teaching situations where, you know, you felt like you did all the work and the other person sat there. Or, you know, so I think you kind of have to have clear roles defined, but if it's done the right way, then I think it's really effective.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay.